on a Monday. Let's get to business. I just want to jump right in and kind of set up where we are, where we're going, what we're doing. I think we've been on top of this from the start, okay? I think we as a show have done a really good job setting the tone for kind of where things are, both with information I've gotten and information others have, and you piece it all together. And look, let's go back before we go forward and just kind of lay this whole thing out. Preseason, week one, concern, tension, dissension. They come out, they lay an egg. We talk about headed into Frisco, different mood at the facility, different week of practice. Play a little better, still fall short. Talked last week, and I said, okay, look, regardless of what happens, 0-2, coming home, the outside world may not believe, but players will, whatever toothpaste you have in the tube, it's coming out in week 3. And I thought the Patriots had a ton of drama going on. We talked about the Ian O'Connor book. They had a ton of injuries. We chronicled the Chung injury and the Flowers injury. And it ended up both of them were out, plus Eric Rowe, one of their starting corners. You factored in a few things. And I thought, and I have no right to say I thought they were going to win. I didn't have the guts to do it, just being straight up. But I thought they'd have the ball with a chance to win in the fourth quarter. I really believed that people were getting it wrong. Bogey being one of them. I mean, Bogey was calling for a 40-10 win. That's just crazy to me. But here we are. And I think we're at a fork in the road, and I'm now going to leave it to you, okay? I think collectively as a show, we've done a really good job with this, and I think we've been on it from the start. So now it's, okay, fork in the road. It's going to go one of two ways, and I'm leaving it to you. And I'm going to give you the following. I'm going to give, because I honestly, I'm still evaluating how I feel. I want to give you 3 reasons to believe that this season is back on track, back on the rails, sufficient locker room buy-in, sufficient changes. We can proceed down the road and say, hey, you know what? Maybe this team can accomplish some things. Or I'm going to give you 3 reasons why last night was less meaningful than it's being sold. Season's not back on track. They're still a bad team. What you do with it from there, it's up to you. I think both opinions are justifiable. But let's just jump right in with this, and I'll throw the number out. You're welcome to call in with what's on your mind, regardless of what I'm about to say. 248-539-9797. But let me start with this. Fork in the road to the left. Season's back on track. We talked about Patricia having a limited window to get this thing back, or he would lose the room, right? We talked that limited window, and it was the next 2 weeks. After that Jet game, you don't get a whole lot. And the Niner game probably brought him to the precipice. And if they lost last night, they were going over the cliff. Players showed up. But here's something that makes me believe Patricia did a 180, okay? Reason number 1 to believe, week 2 was different than week 1. Practice was different. Coach demeanor was different, both game day and not. But into week 3, here's what really looked different, and it's a sign that Patricia's listening to his players. Watch week 1 and look at the running game. Then watch last night's game. It's a 180 schematically, and it's part of what I've talked about. Patricia came in wanting to run power. This isn't a power team. Last night, they abandoned power concepts. A lot of it was more zone concepts. Kind of step, reach, block. Just move people's bodies. Carry them into a gap. Weird, it worked. Kerryon Johnson got rid of one of the uglier Lions stats of a 100-yard rusher. Excellent. But it was totally different. To me, that suggests change. To me, that suggests a middle ground was found. That's 1. 2, beating the Patriots, even though guys like me told you since summer, wagon wheels are coming off. I don't think this is a good Patriot team by Patriot standards. Beating the Patriots represents something bigger. Sure, for fans it does, and I can't fix that. When you've got 70,000 people lathered on, Miller Lite and meth, I can't fix that. But for players, it also represents something because you know what? It represented something for Patricia and his staff. It represented something for that locker room. A lot of former Patriots are in that locker room. That could be a big moment for this team. And I don't want to wash it away with skepticism. I don't think that's fair. And then 3, this is the biggest thing. We talked about how 1 week between the Jets, short turnaround, West Coast, was going to be too much to fix all 3 phases, special teams, defense, offense. This week, here's what I liked. All 3 phases played essentially error-free. Now, look, error-free football can still win. You can have less talent, make less mistakes, beat teams with equal or more talent. It's a recipe to win. They didn't have any mental breakdowns on defense. They didn't, lose gap integrity on defense and give up big runs. They just played a solid game of football. Be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. Simple, but it worked. And they did it in all 3 phases, okay? Now, the reasons not to believe? Well, believe me, there are reasons there too. And one is the Patriots are a mess. I tried to help Bogey with this all week, got made fun of. I came in on Friday. I said it, guys, I think you're not giving your team enough credit. They're going to play up, but this Pats team is bad. When that participation, I almost said participation trophy. When that participation list came out for Friday practice and starting safety Patrick Chung did not, and Trey Flowers, their best pass rusher, did not, and Eric Rowe, who's battling a groin, did not. I said, you know what? Now you're talking about bodies. Now you're talking about the Pats not having enough bodies to put a representative product out there. Some of you may believe, guess what? They're no good, we're no good, and you're almost spiteful about it. Why didn't we play this way against the Jets or Niners? Fair, can't argue it. That's kind of point 2. If you still don't believe the season is back on track, well, it's probably because of the Jet game and the Niner game, and you're looking back and going, wait a second. So we beat a Patriot team whose only win is over 0-3 Houston. We ourselves got blown out by a Jet team that lost to the Browns. And we lost to a Niner team that really hasn't looked very good in week 1 or week 3. Now, in fairness, playing the Vikings, I know they lost to the Bills, but playing the Chiefs, that's a tough assignment, but they didn't look good. I mean, they got blown out. And they did a faux comeback, and then sadly, my hero, Jimmy G, looks like a torn ACL. But that's 2. And then 3, and this is something we've talked about. Maybe you believe that the Patricia familiarity was baked into that spread. It came out at 6.5. Patriot assistant for 14 years. You give him a leg up. Depleted Patriot roster. He's got the familiarity, the insight to self-scout. Stop that. I've never seen Tom Brady play a worse game. 12 of 24, 113 yards, threw an awful pick. Look, I get it if you don't want to believe. For me, look, here's where I'm at. It's very, very simple. And maybe you don't like this answer. I'm not picking either fork in the road because they have to earn my belief. And to do that, I need them to win 3 of their next 4. I need them to go out and beat the Cowboys. I need them to go out and beat a Packer team where Aaron Rodgers may not start, may not last the game. I need them to go win a few games because in order for me to believe the season's back on track, I got to get to a point where I've normalized the 0-2 start and the goal's realistic. Right now, to overcome an 0-2 start and you win last night, now I need you to go 9-4, win 9 out of 13 games to get to 10-6, and that's what it's going to take that in the NFC this year. That's not realistic yet. But you go out, win a couple games in a row, and now I only need you to go, say, 6-4. Well, then it gets back into the picture of, hey, the season's back. 0-2 basically ends your year. But if you can put it back together by Halloween and you can give yourself a shot, you got every right to believe, but they got a lot of work to do it. I am still going to err on the side of season not on track. Patriots, not very good, but you know what? Here's what I'll tell you. Good for you guys. Honestly. This team gives you nothing. They never give you a reason to feel good about yourselves. Good for you. You go out, you beat the pants off somebody. That's like only their 3rd win in 4 or 5 years by 16, 17 points. And for a night, you made Tom Brady look stupid. and you got a big win on national TV. And for that, hey, nobody's here to take that away. Not me, at least. You should enjoy it. So let me throw the number out. Let's rock and roll. 248-539-9797. I want to get your calls in the mix. Certainly get Mike and David involved. David dressed as Mike Tomlin today for the Steelers Monday night game. It's a fascinating and intriguing look. Rick Collell, Suburban Cadillac of Troy.